Hey all, Hipper here. So today we are taking out the Hipper, the ship, the tier 7 German cruiser, which is at the moment my favorite tier 7 cruiser. It just works so well in the current meta, and yeah, I just love it. So I have an agile build on the ship. I'm using Lucians with Azure Lane Baltimore and Takao, and then I have Ingenious and all the usual perks here, all speed and rudder. So that's the agile build. Aiming systems, steering gears, and the improved reload here. So with this build I have 3 awesome 5.6 kilometer sonars, 3 heels as well, and a 2.1 second rudder and 36 knots, and an okay turning circle. So this is actually quite an agile cruiser. It's not that fast, but it works well in you know, cramped, confined quarters like in this battle here. So the reason I don't have the beginning of this battle here is I forgot to actually record it. But all that happens was that I citadeled an Atlanta and took it out. So instead I'll just share the more action-packed part of the game here with you, where I think this actually only lasts about 6 minutes, but I get to do more than 150,000 damage in that time. So yep, like I say, Hipper, it's all about spike damage. If people get close to you, you can have amazing games, and if everyone stays far away and are hiding and just being generally annoying, then you're gonna have a pretty disappointing game. Because unless someone shows you broadside and preferably a cruiser, it's hard to get those big numbers, because you have to rely on your AP in the ship here. The HE is like below average, so you can't really trust that to get big numbers. And of course the torpedoes is also a nice way of padding those damage numbers there. So why I love Hipper in the current meta is because that if you actually manage to get the Hipper, the cruiser, into a position like this, into like a confined space where it's pretty hard to surprise it, and you don't have you know, like open angles to fire at it unless you surround it, but we'll get to that later. Then like wow, a Hipper is just so difficult to dislodge from a position like that. So like here I went in, I took the cap, and there's only one defender left over here, so there's really no point sitting in there. I'm just gonna see if I can take him out while trying to reposition at the same time. So like I said, one Hipper in a good position, if you get in early and take up a nasty spot, like I said, where you have cover and you are in control, you can be like a real thorn in the side of the red team, because it'll take like extravagant resources to dislodge a Hipper or a Prince Eugen from a good position. You probably need at least 3 ships, and you need to surround the Hipper or the Eugen, and even then it still has like a fearsome torpedo armament, so you can't get too close either. And also destroyers aren't safe either, because it does have 5.6 kilometer sonar. So I really enjoy these battles where I get into a good spot somewhere where, like I said, it's very hard to get me out again, and then I just pretty much go with the flow and like take whatever broadsides are offered to me, and then torp any ships that I can. And I said, the only way to really deal with a Hipper is to HE spam it, either by a battleship or by probably 2 or preferably 3 HE spamming cruisers, unless it's in open water, of course, then 1 is fine. Yeah, that is a problem, because HE is the enemy of Hipper, especially fired from battleships, because it takes out the engine almost guaranteed. Especially if you're in a King George V or Nelson, if you shoot HE at a Hipper, you are guaranteed to take out the engine. I don't think I've not had it happen to me, and it seems after Hipper's buff it doesn't happen that often with other ships anymore. It still happens very often with Prince Eugen, actually a lot worse than Hipper, I think. I'm not sure if they changed something in the background on Hipper, but I don't think it's that much of a problem anymore. Actually, which is a good thing, of course, because it gets a little bit annoying in the long run when like a battleship can just shoot at you every 30 seconds and like keep your engine out of the game. So with an agile build on your Hipper, at the very least you have a very good chance of avoiding any HE salvos from battleships, which is like really the core of doing well in this ship here. If battleships shoot AP at you, well, that's unpleasant, of course, but it's much better than shooting HE, because the HE will just leave you dead in the water, and we don't like that, especially on an agile build. It really is something you should try to avoid, which is why that 2.1 second rudder comes in very, very handy, because it means that you can position yourself between the shells, and in that way you won't get your engine knocked out. It might happen still, even if the shells don't hit you. Like the area of effect is actually quite large on those shells, and you might still get your engine taken out, unfortunately. But it seems to happen a lot less in Hipper than it used to do, which is also why I much prefer the ship now over Prince Eugen, which used to be my favorite cruiser in the game. And like I said at the beginning of this video here, Hipper is now my favorite cruiser at the moment. It tends to change like, according to whatever happens in the game, how the meta flows. But right now, Hipper is definitely my favorite. I always have good games in this ship here. Well, almost always. 9 out of 10, let's do it like that. So yeah, I highly recommend it, and I think it's perfect for how the game is at the moment. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you out there.